Hi, I'm Edip Yuksel, 18 October 2018. Today I will be talking about three corrupt leaders: Donald Trump of the United States, Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey, and Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. They have so much in common, and especially after Jamal Khashoggi, his name is spelled out very strange way in English. The Saudi reporter, and I want to write his name, Jamal. Jamal means beauty, something like that. Khashoggi, they are writing like this. I think like this. In fact, Khashoggi, his name in Turkish would be Kaşıkçı. Comes from Turkish word kaşık. Kaşık means spoon. Kaşıkçı, the spoon maker or the spoon seller, the spoon guy. Most likely in his family there are some Turkish among his ancestors. Therefore his name comes from there. In Arabic his name is written Jamal. Jamal. Okay, now let's talk about, he disappeared on October 2nd. Pay attention, this will be a very interesting video and you will learn a lot of things that you don't hear from the media. Now here are our three guys. Donald Trump. This is the monkey I use as a razor. Donald Trump. Tayyip Erdogan, his name is Recep, I think. Not I think, Recep. Recep or Recep. Recep is the name of an Arabic month. Recep. Recep Tayyip. Perhaps he was born in Recep. Is a lunar month. Tayyip, they put it in B, it is Arabic word. Erdogan. And this Saudi crown prince, in fact crown dictator. These are all three are dictators, but he has problem dictating. He's an aspiring dictator. He wants to be dictator, but there are checks and balances. Congress is not doing much well, but at least there is Supreme Court, Constitution, and also resistant people. But he is now a full-blown dictator. He's full-blown dictator. Some people outside of Turkey, they think he's a hero. In fact, he's a zero. He was my friend. I know him personally from school, from early my political youth movement. I was leader of the movement, and he was also one of the leaders within my party. And we're together, but I parted my way a long time ago, thank God. But I have a lot of friends in his party, like the former Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoğlu. He was my classmate from University of Bosphorus, and many right now in his party, or Numan Kurtulmuş. He's now quiet there, but he's perhaps the second man right now in his party, and he's also my friend from school and neighborhood. Anyway, but I know them personally, I know them theoretically, and we all know how corrupt, how authoritarian he is. Turkey right now is not a free country. Thousands of reporters and people, authors, thinkers, politicians, they are in prison. Many. And in fact, I have right now, he sued me in the court, his own court, under his control, that I had insulted him. So far I have 19 months plus another 19 months to 19 months, 38 months prison term by his stooges. And there are more cases, most likely against me. If I go to Turkey, I know from in the airport I will be arrested and I will be tortured. He's a very corrupt guy. He talks in the name of God. Well, I will leave it on. And then Muhammad, look, the name of Prophet Muhammad, how he's abused. The world's criminals, corrupt people, liars and big thieves. BinSalman. I'm not going to call him king. King, in fact, the word king, though it is a bad word, but somehow in common language, in today's culture, when you say king, people go to children book, king was a good guy, prince and princess and stuff. Therefore, it doesn't, in history books even, it doesn't somehow associated with cruelty, killing, dictatorship, which is they are. Every king is a dictator. With the exception maybe very few benevolent king like King Arielus or King David. But most of the kings are cruel dictators, psychopaths, murderers, and thieves. Now, Donald Trump has the world record in lying. He's basically a very efficient and very active, hyperactive lying machine. And he is too. He is too. And I don't know about this guy, whether he is lying every day. And now we know that he's a psychopath. And he was killing with American jets and weapons, killing thousands of people, children, hundreds of children in Yemen. We know how cruel he is. And Tayyip Erdogan killed many, many people, Kurdish people. For example, years ago in Roboski, 34 people, including children from a few family. And it was not even investigated. Under his order, jets bombed them, they killed them. And many like that. And he is right now imprisoned. His main rivals, like Selahaddin Demirtas, the president of HDP, HDP, we call it, Halkın Democratic Partisi, the Democratic Party of People. And anyway, they're, as far as lying, I cannot tell about this guy. I don't know about this guy. I don't know him. But these two we know. I know both of them. They are basically, today they say something, not even before tomorrow, another minute they could just say the opposite. And their followers, they follow them. They worship them. They somehow, they got the language of people. Their level is the level, average level of people. General people are, majority of people are ignorant, majority of people are uninformed, and they are very well relating to the people. Not really just because they are smart, they are kind of acting, it is their level. Somehow they are cunningly smart, cunning, they have climbed the ladder in business and politics by cheating, by lying, and but they are not intellectuals. Both of them do not read books, and I bet this one too. And Putin is the same. Interestingly, very a kind of time-wise, this time is very strange time we are living. Netanyahu is another autocrat. Yet Netanyahu, he is another corrupt, a lying guy. And Modi, they have, I'm going to put question mark about this, but I know about this one, this one, this one, and this one. And do you see, and let's put Putin. At least we know all of these right now, authoritarian, and they are bullies, and they are corrupt, thieves, Even Netanyahu in his own country tried, from corruption, and racist. All of them racist and fascist tendencies. And this guy is also Mohammed bin Salman. Then you know the story. Now everyone knows this guy, Khashoggi, enters the consulate, Saudi consulate. He is critical of Saudi Arabia, not a very kind of strong critic, but mild critic, that he wants his country to be more open and stuff, more free. And then to get a form or to apply for divorce and remarriage, he enters the Saudi embassy in Turkey, and he disappears. He doesn't show up. And later, the evidence shows, the videos, that 15 murderers, basically, they come from Saudi Arabia, they enter Turkish, the embassy or consulate, I forgot, the details, not important. And then, according to Turkish intelligence, they kill him, they torture him, kill him, and they chop him. Now, here it is my prediction. I know it took too long until to come here. Here is my prediction. My prediction, they are expecting right now, Pompeo went to Turkey and also met both of these guys, unfortunately sat and smiled with this murderer. It is obviously that Saudi Arabia murdered. And Turkey claims that they have video and audio evidence of it. Most likely Turkish intelligence is spying inside Saudi Arabia. Perhaps they claim they got it through the phone or through the watch in order to kind of create, to cover up for their spying inside the consulate. What happens right now, the United States, Donald Trump is trying to cover up because he has business deal with Saudis, and Saudi is the head of the snake in Middle East together with Israel and now Turkey and Iran. These are 4 snakes in that region. But the biggest snake is Saudi Arabia. It is the country that breeds terrorism and extremism and provides also a lot of money for corruption around the world, bribes people. And Israel also, and they are now in cahoots together with the United States. They are together, and Turkey is also in the fold, and they sometimes openly as if they are quarreling, but in fact behind the doors they are all following the same script, the interests of the big corporations. Now, they are saying right now they are waiting for investigation, Saudi Arabia and Turkey, and they will come up with a public report what happened. And my prediction, again, it is 18th of, let me see. Okay, here it is. This is the time. 18th of November 2018. My prediction, Turkey will cover up for Saudi Arabia after these leaks, implicating Saudi Arabia, which considers rival against its stupid leadership in troubled hell, Middle East, competing for leadership in a very troubled, cursed geography. Wants to be leader in the hell. Anyway, now, what we'll do, I know this guy, his whole thing is to get more money and more money. This guy is hungry, hungry. Nothing can satisfy him. He initially started, he said, I have only one ring. Look at the symbol. And anyway, if one day I will have more than this, you should know that I stole. He has this video recording in the beginning of his political career. And then he was talking about this guy, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, talking about how Hazreti Umar, the second caliph, who is legendary that he had such empathy towards the plight of the poor. He cared so much about them. He was so just. He wouldn't use the candle, the government's candle, for his own personal stuff. Therefore, he would care about even using the candle for his personal business. And Hazreti Umar had a patched shirt. This is from his talk. He was talking about the justice of Hazreti Umar. And what happened? He came to the power because they are, according to the Quran, these people are the people. فَلَا يَغُرَّنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورِ. The deceiver should not deceive you in the name of God, with God's name. And he's exactly one of those. I know him personally because he's Sunni. Sunni, Shiite, Catholic, they are all liars. Because the idol worship, the religion of idol worship and worshiping human being, Muhammad or his friends or this alim, that alim, they are worshiping. Because they say God is not enough. They are not monotheist. And their religion is based on hearsay, based on basically mimicking the crowd and following their ancestors blindly. It is conformism. It is religion of chameleons. Basically, they change the color according to the environment. It's not seeking the truth by any cost possible. They are not searching for truth. He's not Sunni just because of that. He searched truth. He investigated philosophically, theologically, searched for it, argued, and then finally came up to this intellectually. No, none of these. He's a Christian, lip service, liar. He's not Christian. And therefore, even if they are, in fact, it is just a, anyway, hypocrisy. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, he was talking about how just Hazrat Umar was, and how he start with this. If he gets more money, he should be accused of stealing. Well, now he became the president. He built for himself the biggest second mansion in the world in last century. Second biggest mansion, palace. The first one by Ceausescu, the Romanian president, who was later lynched by people. Imagine, Romania, poor country. He made a huge, huge mansion, number one. Maybe this mansion has become number one because he has several other mansions. Together, aggregate, it is number one. His mansion, Aksaray, 1,150 rooms. The name of it, Aksaray. Aksaray means White Palace. White Palace. And I have, gosh, let me bring the paper information about that. I want to read the numbers. I knew some of those numbers. I don't want to make mistake. And here it is. I want you to look at these numbers regarding Aksaray. I just read it. I don't know whether you can read. How is it? Okay. This is from here. Okay. It was Yeah, he has also millions of dollars, but the figure is much more. In fact, he's a billionaire. And another, right now, another sarai, means another palace he's building for himself for summertime, and that will be 300 rooms. The minimum payment, the people who work with the minimum wage, their earning is only 1,600 Turkish lira per month. Right now, a Turkish lira equals approximately $6. 1,600 divided by 6. You know how measly it is? It is less than $300. Majority of people makes around $300 per month. And in that country, he has such a mansion. That's not enough. Now he's making another one with 300 rooms. And also the cost of it, just electrical or utility cost, is incredible huge. He has 13 private jets, hundreds of Mercedes, very luxury cars in his convoy. And recently, he got his 14th jet, supposedly as a gift, from another dictator, thief, the dictator of Qatar, or the thief-in-chief of Qatar. And the value of that flying palace is more than $400 million. Let me repeat, more than $400 million. Check the news. The Qatar King Tayyip Erdogan gift, or add the word jet. These words, Google it, you will find it. Inside is immense, incredible luxury. And this guy in his mansion drinks white tea, which is $1,000, it's kilogram. Eats ejderha fruit. It's very expensive fruit. First time I hear its name, like ejderha, dragon fruit. And his wife buys the most expensive clothes, bags, and whatever, makeup. How we know he buys the most expensive? Because once with Tayyip, they went to Belgium, Brussels, and his wife closed whole shop for himself, the most luxurious shop in Brussels. And then after she shopped a bag, reporters go to the shop, they say, what she got? They know the bag, we see in pictures that bag, and many bags like that. But that particular bag, they found out she paid $51,000. $51,000. His wife, one bag. And now this guy talks about Hazrati Umar, how just he was to the people. He sell them the package shirt of Hazrati Umar to people, but what he gets in return in the name of God, from a poor country where there are many poor people who are going hungry, many homeless people, many hardworking people who are struggling to make the ends, who are drowning in big debt, heavily taxing them. Everything is heavily taxed, and then he's wasting his money for his luxury. And that's not alone. His son, Bilal, started with one ship. Now he has, God knows how many scores of ships, because of this guy, as a bribery. And his son-in-law now has the biggest companies. In fact, he's now he's the merchant. What happened? He's a arm merchant in Turkey. He has a factory, assembly line, basically put together, import, and then put together some of the weapons to kill people. Kill people. Drones. They call it SIHA. And therefore, in order to use them, he declared war against Afrin, Kurdish people in Syria. They don't have their army, military, they don't have jets, they don't have tanks. City with American jets and German tanks attacked the city, declared himself as the victor, as a great commander-in-chief. Against what? A city that doesn't have army, doesn't have single tank, doesn't have jet, but using all these resources, attacking a town. And it took them also 2 months to conquer the town because residents were struggling, resisting against this army. And then he uses basically children of the poor people to kill the children of poor people and declare victory. And his son-in-law, 2 sons and son-in-law, none of them went to the military. In fact, one of them claimed that he is sick, that he cannot, which is a lie, and the other paid money in order to not to go to military. And he himself, he is under protection of thousands of police and military, and he is a hero. I know he's a coward. When I was in youth movement, I know that he was a coward at that time, and he's still a coward. The most coward person in Turkey. He's scared all the time. He's a paranoid guy, and he is the poorest guy in Turkey because he's hungry all the time. He has billions, and in fact it was auto-taped that he had stashed millions of dollars in his home, and he calls his son, he says, hide the things, and there was kind of a police action against him. Oh, by the way, why I'm forgetting Fethullah Gülen. Fethullah Gülen. Fethullah Gülen, they were all together. This was a religious cleric, a charlatan. This is another charlatan. Both of them use God's name, religion, in order to fool people. And this guy is in the United States. He has many followers. Most of them are very well educated, some of them very bright people, the brightest in Turkey. And they became cult members, basically. They lost their minds. Very smart people follow this guy. He's full of nonsense, basically, if you listen to him. He's a very smart guy, he's maybe genius. But he's very uneducated, he's delusional, he makes up stupid things. And I have a list of the things that, in fact, I have several videos on him, and I have also an article on him. Anyway, they were together for 10 years. They fooled people. They took over the government through basically entering secretly to the institutions in Turkey, and later when they got, and also through many fake ways, like stealing the test to the military or universities, and cheating through the cult, and cult member by this way enter the police and judiciary and military and education, and then they took over. These are both of them Sunni, and both of them hypocrites. Both of them follows the St. Paul's maxim, or Machiavellian maxim, that I become everything and anything to reach my goal. This St. Paul said. And therefore Recep Tayyip Erdogan said, I become a pastor, a Christian pastor, reverend, priest, in order to reach my goal. He acting up. You don't know which one is true. We find out that his entire goal, cause, is self. He's worshiping self. He's narcissist. And of course, this guy is narcissist too, and these are. And this guy also narcissist too. And later they fell apart, and those great friends, they became the greatest enemies, which I predicted. Years before I said, look at them. Their coalition is based on what? Based on cheating and stealing from people. Stealing wealth and excelling in politics, control. And I said, what is in common in between these two is unsatisfying ambition to control, to get more and more. That's it. Worldly life. And they are abusing God's name for this end. And then one day they will beat each other. They will fight over the spoils. Because the more they eat, the more they steal, the more they get hungry. This is God's curse on dictators. The more they get power, they want more powerful, more power. The more they steal, they want even steal more. They are never satisfied until they get the punishment. Now, I was going to tell you what will happen. In the beginning, I should have told you. Turkey in Khashoggi, regarding disappearance Khashoggi, has some evidences, claims to be. Whether it's blackmail or bluff, doesn't matter, whether it has it or not, but right now using it and leaking some information. But we don't know exactly whether Turkey has really audio and video tapes. But at least this message is going to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia right now, this dictator, Mohammed BinSalman, under pressure. And Tayyip Erdogan and him, with the United States being referee, they will come into an agreement. This is my prediction. And Tayyip Erdogan will save this guy, will not leak whatever he's claiming to be. This is my, I might be wrong, but this is my guess. Will cover him. In return, Tayyip Erdogan will get billions and billions of dollars bribery from this guy. Tayyip Erdogan in the past got from Kuwait and Saudi Arabia before. For example, to attack Syria, not to attack Syria, to promote war in Syria, to smuggle weapons and psychopaths to Syria for many, many years. United States, through United States encouragement, and Saudi Arabia's and Qatar's money, Turkey got money from them, and what did? Promoted war, inflamed war, provoked more war in Syria. Therefore, Turkey has a lot of contribution in Syrian war. In return, Turkey got 3 or 4 million Syrian refugees. Now complain about this, but it was Turkish fault. If you go, your neighbor's home is burning, you go add more fire, you add more fuel to that fire, and then when they escape, you say, well, I'm having refugee, I'm helping them, I'm a great guy. No, you are the guilty one. But later Qatar kind of switched, as Qatar and Saudi Arabia parted ways, and Turkey sided with Qatar and Iran. And Saudi Arabia, Israel and America, and Israel also has great relation with Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Just the other way around. This guy, whatever he says, he does just the opposite. He is the great ally of Israel after Saudi Arabia. The relationship between Israel and Turkey during the reign of this guy has increased the trade relationship 3 times more, military relationship many more. Turkey purchases many weapons, military weapons, from drones and many other, and intelligence from Israel. Therefore, don't look at Tayyip Erdogan talks about Palestine stuff. It all is in talk. Nothing is true. It all lie, all for domestic consumption, all for to fool his own people. In fact, there was Marmara flotilla, 7 or 9 Turkish people were killed. They were protesting Israel blockade against Gaza. They went there. Israeli military killed them. It was another atrocity. Israel kills and does commit and get away with it. And Turkey, because of the deal with Israel, banned the family of the in quote martyrs, those young people who really courageously they protested the fascism and apartheid state, and Tayyip sided with Israel. Tayyip's court dismissed them, did not really follow their civil lawsuit against Israeli murderers. In reality, it is Israel's great ally. In fact, he came to the United States from Zionist organization, ADL. Is it ADL? Anyway, I thought it's the acronym, I forgot. Anti-defamation, yeah. He got the Medal of Courage from them. And supposedly about the courage during the Second World War. Well, why they didn't give to the previous presidents and prime minister of Turkey? Why you? Anyway, biggest liar. He talks about Hazreti Ömer's past shirt. He gets, for instance, the most luxurious life in the world. Imagine the White House has only 132 rooms. This guy's mansion is more than how many times, the number of rooms more, but in terms of space was even more than 10 times bigger than that. The United States is 320 million. Turkish population is about 88 million. The land-wise United States is much bigger in terms of economy and military and technology. Turkey is not even 1/10 of the United States, but he has much bigger mansion. He has many jets, a collection of jets, and people are making their monthly working people's income is $300–500. That is the thief. And in many areas, big lies. And in terms of, for example, banking, he talks against interest. He says it is haram according to the Quran. And what happens, the banking industry got the highest returns, interest during his time. Before he started in 2002, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, before 2002, out of 10 most profitable Turkish companies, banks, there were 4 banks, which is too many. Too many. Even one bank is too many. What is bank doing? Bank is getting money from here to there, meanwhile he's stealing the money. Money changers, thieves, legal thieves, because they passed the law. They legalized the robbery. Here in the United States, 3 banks in 2016 made $7 billion. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Chase. These 3 banks alone. In 1 year alone, in just one article, they have many, dozens of articles, they make money this way and that way. In just one article, they made $7 billion. From what? From the poorest of the poor. Overcharge. Balance. Overdraft. I mean, someone, a poor person that doesn't have somehow much money in his account, someone charges something inadvertently, or he has to feed himself or get the bus ticket, whatever, for something necessity he charges, and 10 cents extra. The bank charges him $35 punishment penalty. $35 for overdraft of 10 cents. And now, of course, this guy will get his payment, his salary in 2 weeks. The bank will get 10 cents back in just 2 weeks. Basically, loaning the money for 2 weeks, 10 cents, and charging $35 for 10 cents. If it is $1, still $35 is 35 times in 2 weeks. In 1 month, it will be 70 times. In 1 year, it will be around 800 times more for $1. 800 times more. Incredible. Incredible. The percentage of interest they are charging to whom? The poorest of poor. And that money is siphoned to whom? To the richest people. That's the way how the exploitation, the slavery, exploitation of people going on. Legally, people are robbed. And this guy, about 2 years ago, I checked the 10 most profitable Turkish companies. 8 of them were banks. 8 from 4. No, I'm sorry, it was 7. 7 of them were banks. From 4, it became 7. And the other 3, they were utility companies, something no production. Basically, he sold the Turkish manufacturing companies to foreigners. He's talking about national, but he sold Turkish companies to foreigners. He talks about religion and interest is haram, is bad, is sin. And he helped the bank the most, record profit for bank. He talks about Israel is bad, Israel, Zionists and stuff, but Turkey's trade with Israel increased 3-fold minimum, and military relationship is at best. And then he's critical of the United States, but comes to the United States like this, in front of the Trump, in order to meet him 15 minutes. He pays billions of dollars as a bribe. I will purchase this and that. Purchase deals. But in his country, he is the leader of the world. Everyone in the world are scared from him. And from this guy too, in his country, oh my gosh, he is the one governing the world. But they are petty stooges. And even this guy, petty stooges, who is governing? The big multinational global corporations. They are the one dictating. Democracy is a farce, unfortunately. Democracy is farce, is a game played. People think it is manufacturing consent. Noam Chomsky made that famous expression. It's manufacturing consent through media. Media is controlled by them, and people think they are really choosing, but no, really. The money is choosing the candidate, and which candidate will be elected, that is also money deciding. And when they go there, they are not even the ones making the most important laws. For example, the tax law recently by Trump, more than 4,800, I believe, if I remember correctly, 4,800 lobbyists. They wrote this concoction of lobbyists working for the big companies. And therefore they got a lot of tax cut. Not only tax cut, they turn it to cheese with Swiss cheese with holes in it, and they know which loopholes they put, and then through their lawyers they are able, through loopholes, get all the money back. And therefore they paid zero tax or very little tax. Corporations. And therefore the plutocracy needs to end. We need to change it. One of the most important things is missing in the Constitution: protection against corporations, against money. Where is in Constitution? There is balance and check, but, well, there is another thing, corporations. We need to have that one. We need to have also another things. Anyway, in my Peacemaker's Constitution, a constitution proposal, you will find some good articles, suggestion, amendments, or a new constitution that will have something better. If you watch, I highly recommend you to watch my talk at British Parliament. Too long it's getting. I need to finish it. At British Parliament, I had speech about 7-8 months ago. It's very important. Over there, I invite people of the world. We need to unite. Regionally, we cannot save ourselves from these corporations, because they are global. They are like octopus everywhere. In order to save ourselves, we need to transcend the national, religious, and ethnic borders created by politicians and religious people that divide us. We need to transcend those borders. We need to unite our voice and forces and energy in order to implement a just, a better world, where the military-industrial complex will not create more wars, will not dictate, where corporations will not dictate laws which destroy the planet Earth and or doom millions of people to poverty and many other troubles. We see that it is caused by the hungriest of people. They are never satisfied. They are billionaires and billionaires. They want to suck more and even more. And they are sick people. We need to unite our forces against them. Anyway, and we know this Netanyahu, Modi, and Putin. Anyway, Tayyip Erdogan, as I said, Turkey, most likely, United States and Saudi Arabia, within few days, they will exonerate, absolve Mohammed bin Salman, and Tayyip Erdogan, not Turkey, really, Tayyip Erdogan will get billions of dollars, and America will be happy with both of them. You stooges, you create this problem and now you solve it. Thank you. And as far as the United States, now it is fully exposed that so-called human rights and stuff, it was farce, we know in the past, but now it is openly exposed to even idiots. You know that it has never been the main concern of the United States. United States have always supported tyrants, dictators, thieves around the world, from Philippines to Egyptian, from Marcos to Egyptian Mubarak to Iran's Shah to so many in Latin America, even helped terrorist groups in Nicaragua and others. All around the world we see United States is not really for freedoms of the people, for justice. If there are a few places it is anomaly, and it is also for show off, or maybe United States doesn't have much interest there. United States, unfortunately, inside is fantastic. We have freedom of talking, speaking, though how much influence we have. We don't have the megaphone, we don't have the media, like Noam Chomsky, one of the most brilliant scientists and political scientists, analysis he makes, but you don't see him in mainstream media at all. He's not invited. And therefore there is a kind of censorship, very clever censorship. You think that they are discussing everything is open. But I am also happy for Bernie Sanders. I think he's a genuine guy. And first time in the United States I heard some of the hidden truths voiced by him. And though he was tricked by the establishment, I think he could win, but they plotted against him. I hope that he will not lose momentum. There is still hope to change, because there are now more people in the United States, especially young people, progressive people, are waking up to this major robbery and plutocracy. Anyway, too much. So many things I wanted to tell about Tayyip Erdogan, about the details. He has nothing to do with Islam. Islam is peacemaking. He's a Sunni charlatan. And also a lot about Fethullah Gülen and the characteristics. And there are many people, and also Tayyip Erdogan staged a coup by fooling some of Fethullah followers, by his staged military coup against himself, in order to boost his personality and also change the culture in Turkey. Now, because of that stupid supposedly coup attempt, and now millions of cowards and stupid people, people with no honor, very bad people, they think they are hero. They just use this one. On the streets, there were a few hundred people, but if you ask millions of them, his supporters, they were all there. They were facing the bullets. They were stopping tanks with their bodies. They stopping bullets with their heads. You see, all the cowards and lowly people, they became hero because of this guy. And there is lynch mentality. If anyone on the street criticizes this guy, those heroes, they go lynch. They don't have honor. Many of them attack one person. And they call it whatever. Therefore, the culture is very bad in Turkey right now. Many people do not care about justice or truth. And they are basically siding with this. They are worshiping him. And as Donald Trump, the same, the followers of Donald Trump worship him. Whatever he does is accepted. Anything he can do, anything he can say, he can contradict himself a minute later, still they follow him because they worship him. Majority of people are idol worshippers. They worship politicians, they worship religious leaders because they care less about the truth. And unfortunately, they are corrupt. And it is a reflection of people's corruption. Therefore, the Turkish society, majority of Turkish society, deserve this big thief, dictator. The same in Saudi Arabia. Either they are thief, corrupt like their dictators, or they are cowards. Either way, they deserve them. Because you must have honor to stand up against dictator. I did it there. But I had to leave because I was a single one person. Better to come here, at least I can have freedom. Either leave that hell or stand against it. Don't accept it. At worst case, don't clap for it for gain. Okay, peace. And I need to leave, but so much to talk about these guys. Well, what did we say? They're common. They're all authoritarian. Psychopaths, they can kill people if they can feel they can get away. They don't care about human life. They don't have really empathy for the weak. And they are hungry. They want to steal more. At least, I don't know about Modi's interest in material things. I know he's racist. I know he's like them demagogues. He uses religion and race to they are also all dividers. I don't know about this guy, whether dividing, but I know Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Donald Trump is divider. I don't know about Putin, whether he's dividing his people, polarizing them, but sometimes dictators can unite them, if they can do, but if they cannot unite them for themselves, they want to divide people in order to put them against each other and take advantage from the divisions. This should be a great topic for research. Why these people at this time, they popped up from different part of the things, and somehow they relate to each other. Though in normal world they should fight with each other, but somehow they are able to kind of unite their forces for corruption and I think they are serving the same interest. Major interest forces them, the global major corporations, the transnational corporations, forces them to work for them. Or their interests merge with each other. They become codependent, big thieves. In order to protect themselves, they start working with each other. And in this case, let's see several days later, whether these three big thieves and liars, whether they will come together to save each other. Take care, peace. Please check my English videos with English. English videos are marked after my name, Edip Yuksel, parentheses, letter E for English. You can search my videos that way. And also I created a playlist just for English videos. Check them. And if you want to watch a video about Islam versus Shiite and Sunni version, there is a video I had with Rudao, an interview. I think it is a good one. Rudau interview there. I think ISIS, Sunni religion and ISIS. Do these words, search ISIS, Edip Yuksel, Rudau. I think the name of Rudau this is the name of the TV, the Kurdish TV that interviewed me, but it is in English in Washington. And it is, the topic is ISIS, but over there I compare Islam to Sunni religion. And also check my books, most of them are available for free as a PDF, Manifesto for Islamic Reform, and Quran, a Reformist Translation, English ones I am telling you, 19, God's Signature in Nature and Scripture, and another one, Running Like Zebras, My Arguments with Zebras Who Escaped from 19, and also Peacemaker's Guide to Warmongers, and that one is also my debate with the warmongers who kind of, they're not only critical of Sunnism and Shiism, they think it is Islam, and also they justify wars and massacres against them, which I am very against that. I am the strongest critic of Sunnis and Shiites and Middle Eastern countries, but at the same time, I am the strongest opponent of wars, Western wars, and military occupations, because it only feeds the extremists. It creates the ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda and ISIS are the creation of Russian and American occupation in Afghanistan, and American and Israel's invasions, and in Saudi Arabia, in involvement and oppression of Palestinians and others, or war, unjustified war in Iraq that killed about millions of about a million Iraqis, and wounded many, and created ISIS ultimately. And because there were huge atrocities, killing, massacring, and torturing happened in the name of civilized world. And therefore, I am still behind my words. I say, if Muslims, which they are not, but if they are terrorists, Christians are terrorists 666 more times. If they are terrorists, Christians killed many, many, many more. In just last century ago, 2 world wars done by Christians, the biggest 2 terrorist actions, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, by Christians, and wars, in fact, more supported military-industrial complex by right-wing evangelical Christians in this country. And the same with the so-called Sunni Muslims. Wherever around the world we look at the religious people, in India, they are more pro-war, pro-violence, pro-injustice. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, in the name of God. We expect from people be standing for peace against wars, with the exception of few groups, small groups. Most of them, they are more for king than king for themselves. They are for more violence and killing than any other groups, than atheists and other groups. What a shame. Peace.